Today I'm recapping an action, thriller and revengeful movie called Taken by Liam Neeson. Take care and watch out. In the starting scenes, Brian, a retired CIA agent who quit his job to leave near her daughter Kim in California, now lives in a small modest apartment. Kim leaves with her mother Lenoa, the ex-wife to Brian, and rich stepfather Stuart. On Kim's 17th birthday, Brian goes to an electronics store to pick Kim a karaoke machine because she always wanted to be a singer. He wraps it so carefully and heads to a luxurious mansion where Kim and her mom stay. He meets Lenoa and she tries to prevent him from meeting her, but Kim sees her father and she comes running to him. Brian gives her the karaoke machine as her gift, but her mom criticizes it, saying she is not a 12-year-old anymore. Regardless, Kim is happy about the gift and whispers to her dad that she loved it. Shortly, Stuart, her stepfather, brings her a big horse as her birthday gift, and Kim is super excited and she goes running to her stepdad, leaving her father in space. Later, when Brian is in his small apartment, his friends come over for beer and steak. One of his friends, also a former CIA agent, invites him to make some quick cash working as security with them, escorting a female pop star to her nearby concert. After her rehearsals before the concert, Brian asks if she has any advice for her daughter, who also wants to be a singer, but the pop star rudely replies that he should tell his daughter to change her career. Kim then calls her dad while he is at the concert and she invites him for lunch the next day. While escorting the pop star from the concert, a mob of funs break through and are coming toward the pop star. Brian quickly reacts and pulls the pop star out of their way and tries to take her to safety, but on their way, they find an assailant holding a knife ready to stab the pop star. Brian quickly takes him down and the pop star is saved. As an appreciation to him, the pop star offers to help Brian's daughter with her singing career. Brian is very excited and so anxious to inform his daughter about it when they meet. The next day when they meet, Kim comes with her mom. It is clear that they came so that he can sign a consent form that will allow her to go for vacation to Paris with her friend Amanda, at her cousin's place, since she is not 18 yet. Brian is hesitant in the beginning, but later her wife convinced her to let their daughter go. He later goes to their mansion and accepts. Kim is so excited and happy about her vacation with her friend Amanda to Paris. Brian tells her that him accepting is on condition that you will call when you land in Paris. You will call every night, and also you should tell me the addresses and phone numbers of any new places you will go to, later. He takes his daughter to the airport. While Brian is unpacking her baggage from the car, he sees a map of Europe that tells him that her daughter is not only going to Paris but rather she will be visiting various cities in Europe. He is unhappy, but Lenoa tells him to let her go, or else she will lose her. Brian reluctantly accepts and they later set off to Paris. In Paris, while standing in the line for a taxi at the airport, the two girls meet a friendly, handsome young man named Peter. He suggests they all share a taxi because taking a single taxi each would be so expensive. Amanda immediately accepts and Kim reluctantly agrees. While they wait, they have Peter take their picture with Kim's phone. Appearing cautiously, Peter has the taxi drop the girls off first. He invites them to a party that very night and Amanda quickly accepts. As the taxi pulls away, Peter makes a quick phone call. He simply says two girls, about 18, and the address of the apartment. Upstairs, Kim inquires where the cousins are at. Amanda cheerfully announces the cousins are on vacation in Spain, and sillily informs her as she jumps on the couch that she plans to get laid by Peter later on. Back in the US, Brian, as a concerned dad, checks the arrival details and learns that Kim's plane landed safely. He later tries to call Kim's phone, but the music is so loud and Amanda can't hear, so she isn't picking. Later on, Kim picks and his dad asks why he didn't call him as they had earlier planned before she left. While on phone, Kim sees two men grab Amanda and carry her away from her view while Amanda kicks and fights. Panicked, Kim tells Brian what she just saw. Brian immediately takes control and orders her to go into the nearest bedroom and hide under the bed. He then starts guiding her with a careful series of questions. He learns that Kim and Amanda shared a cab with a man named Peter. While Kim is under the bed, Brian tells her to keep her phone on. He further tells her to describe the men that took Amanda. Brian connects a tape recorder to his phone and starts recording their conversation. The two men enter the room Kim is in and are trying to find the second girl. They find her, grab and pull her from under the bed and take her. Brian gets a chance to talk to one of the guys on the phone and he informs him that if they don't let her daughter go, he will find him and kill him. The guy on the phone told him good luck. Immediately, Brian sends the taped conversation to his fellow ex-CIA agent from the concert for more information about the guy he was talking to, and then storms over to Stuart's, his ex-wife's second husband. He asks him if he has any enemies overseas that might have arranged Kim's kidnapping. Stuart replies that there is none that he knows about. Brian confirms it, and asks Stuart to arrange a private plane to Paris as soon as possible because his daughter doesn't have a lot of time. He continues to search Kim's room for possible clues but he gets none. Later his ex-CIA friend calls back in presence of Lenoa. He informs them that they are speaking Albanian and they are from Albania. He went ahead and told him that their leader is called Marco. He is a very powerful figure. He tells him that the Albanians kidnap girls for prostitution. He then informs him that he has at most 4 days before Kim will disappear forever. While on the jet to Paris he keeps on playing Kim's recording over and over again, committing every sound to memory. When he reaches Paris, he fast gains access to Amanda's apartment where they were kidnapped from. He visualizes the entire abduction and later found Kim's smashed phone and he managed to recover a memory card from it. He got the picture of Peter, the guy that they met on arrival, from the memory card he got from his daughter's smashed cell phone. He later goes to the airport to find Peter. He finds him and beats him up while asking him the 2 American girls. Peter's colleague came and started fighting Brian. He gets rid of him quickly and goes after Peter. Peter runs and jumps off the bridge where he was hit by a lorry and died. Brian then meets with an old colleague named Jean, who is with the French intelligence, to ask for information about the Albanians. The Frenchman tells Brian where the Albanian pimped hookers are located, but warns Brian to stay out of it and to not cause any problems. As Brian leaves, he goes to where he was directed to and he hires an Albanian interpreter. He goes to one prostitute and he tries to provoke her, and waste her time knowing that her pimp will come out to her help. When the pimp comes, he tries to fight him but he is so calm and he puts a listening device on the pimp and went back in the car where he left his interpreter. He starts interpreting the entire conversation until Brian gets something useful from their conversation. They were talking about having trouble with their new merchandise at a construction site. Brian paid the interpreter and he drove to the said construction site where he found a long line of men waiting to enter the trailer. He joined the line as a customer, and when he reached inside there were drugged girls that were being used as sex workers. Brian started looking for his daughter but he didn't find her. He found some other girl with her daughter's jacket and asks her where she got the jacket. The girl is so drugged that she can't talk. He decides to go with her. He carried her and put her in the car amidst gunshots from the Albanians. Now they are after him. He drives away but they are still following him. He gets rid of them, one by one, and moves away quietly. He switches cars on the way. He then reaches his destination and rents a hotel from an old colleague. He takes the girl and begins an ultra detox of her system which will dilute the drugs she was given. Later the girl comes back to consciousness. She tells Brian she got the jacket from another girl in the house with red doors on Rue Paradis. Brian finds the house with the red doors. Walks in bold and confidently. He presents Jean's business card as his own. Brian is then led into the house and is taken to their boss. Brian informs them that their former police contact was transferred and now he is the new contact. He asks for pay raise by 20% after the deal is struck. Brian identifies the figure and familiar voice of the last person he spoke to from Kim's phone. He knew that they are the exact guys he is looking for. Suddenly Brian fights and kills all of them except for Marco, the exact kidnapper of his daughter. Later when the smoke clears, he looks for her daughter in the all house but doesn't find her. He finds Amanda's dead body in one of the rooms due to drug overdose. Brian then starts dealing with Marco, tortures him but he is saying nothing. He electrifies him until he says the person they sold his daughter to, St. Clair, was mentioned, and then Brian leaves Marco being electrified, presumably wanting him to die, and he leaves the room. Jean comes home for supper to discover Brian is visiting like an old friend. Jean is told by his wife to take the kids to sleep but on his way back to the dining table, he picks his gun. Brian needs full information about St. Clair and Jean is not willing to provide the information. In an argument with Brian, Jean picks his gun and points it at Brian and tries to shoot him, not knowing Brian already removed the bullets before he came back from work. So Brian pulls out his gun and shoots Isabella on her shoulder and promises to shoot on her head if Jean doesn't give out the information he needs. Jean has no option but provide all the information he knows about St. Clair. After he gathers the information he leaves and tells Jean to tell his wife he is sorry. Again posing as Jean, Brian gains access to a party St. Clair is hosting. Brian discovers St. Clair is hosting another party on a lower level. Brian disguises as a waiter and gets access to the darker room. He finds a stage where drugged young girls are auctioned for the highest bidder. He watches until they auction his daughter. She was announced as the best saved for the last because she was a virgin. Brian pulls out a gun on one of the buyers in this dark corner of the room and forces him to outbid the others to purchase her. The bidding goes to $500,000. The guy purchases. Upon leaving the room with the buyer still at gunpoint, Brian is knocked down. He wakes up suspended from a pipe below the ceiling. He tells St. Clair that she is there for her daughter, the last girl that was auctioned. St. Clair tells him he is sorry but it's just business, and he directs his men to kill him quickly and silently. He leaves the room. Brian manages to break the pipe loose and escape after killing all the guards. He goes to meet St. Clair standing at the elevator, points a gun at him. He starts begging for his life, saying it was just business. Brian shoots him dead. Brian races the car to the river, but misses the large yacht onto which Kim and other veiled women have been abducted as it cruises down the river. Brian drives a stolen car against one-way traffic to gain position on the bridge, then jumps onto the ship as it passes underneath. On the ship, an Arab sheik lies on a bed in a robe as a group of women in veils including Kim are brought to him. Brian fights his way into the sheik's guard and enters into his bedroom where the sheik has a curved knife onto Kim's throat. Brian takes aim and shoots him in the head. Kim is happy he met his father and they travel back home to get reunited with his mother. Thank you for watching.